Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to look at a few super simple secrets that will make your English sound way more natural, like instantly. These are small changes, but trust me, they make a huge difference. So let's get right to it.
So take a look at this question. Can you tell me where is the station? Just say it out loud for a second. How does it sound to you? It's probably something we've all said or thought about saying when we're lost. But is it 100% correct?
If you had a little feeling that something was maybe a bit off, you're totally right. This is one of the most common mistakes out there. But the good news? The fix is so easy. Seriously, once you see this, you'll never unsee it, and you're going to sound so much more fluent.
Okay, so here's the game plan for today. First, we are going to tackle that number one politeness fix. Then, we'll learn how to avoid some really common verb traps. After that, we'll start speaking with phrasal verbs, and finally, we'll look at words that just love to stick together. Let's dive in. So, first up, mastering indirect questions. Now, this isn't just about boring grammar, okay? This is probably the number one thing you can do to sound more polite and natural in your conversations. It just softens everything up and makes you sound less demanding. Just look at this. It's a small change, but it is so powerful. In the direct question, the verb is comes before the station, right? Where is the station? But look what happens when we make it an indirect question. The order flips back. It becomes where the station is. That little switch, that's everything. And that right there, that's the golden rule. Anytime you put a question inside another little phrase, it kind of stops being a question and it goes back to the normal sentence order. Subject, then verb. It's that simple, but it makes all the difference in the world.
And these are your secret weapons. Anytime you start a sentence with one of these phrases, you just have to remember to use that regular sentence order we just talked about. It's like an instant upgrade for your English.
Okay, so what about those simple yes or no questions, like, is she at home? Well, for these, you need to add a little connecting word, either if or whether. So it turns into, I'm not sure if she is at home. And notice that word order again. It's she is, not is she. All right, moving on. Our next big upgrade is all about verbs. We're going to look at some of the most common verb traps, especially those tricky, irregular past tense verbs that can really trip us all up sometimes.
Ah, yes, the classic mistakes. I think we've all been there, right? You want to say good or finded because it feels like it should be right. But nope, English has other plans for us. These verbs are used so often that getting their past forms right, went, said, found, is just something you have to do to sound fluent.
Now, let's zoom in on a really common point of confusion. Went versus gone. Went is simple. It's for an action that's finished, done. Yesterday, he went home. But gone is different. That's the one you use with have or has, and it connects the past to right now. Like, he isn't here because he has gone home. See the difference?
And here's another one that can catch you out. The past tense of find is found. Simple. But founded, well, that's a totally different verb. To found something means to start it, to establish it, like a company. So you find your keys, but you founded a business.
Okay, I gotta say, this next section is my favorite, because this is where you really start to sound less like you're reading from a textbook and more like you're just talking. Let's get into some phrasal verbs. So first up, we have come up with. This has nothing to do with physically moving up, right? It means to create an idea from your mind. So instead of just saying, we need to think of a plan, you say, we need to come up with a plan. It just sounds so much more active and natural. Oh, run out of. This happens to everybody. You can run out of coffee, you can run out of time, you can run out of patience, anything. It just means you've used it all up. You have zero left. And the key thing to remember is it's always followed by the thing you don't have anymore.
This is such a great phrase for talking about something good that's coming up. Now, there's a really important grammar rule here. After look forward to, you have to use a noun, like the weekend, or a verb that ends in ing. So you would say, I'm looking forward to seeing you. You would never, ever use the base verb.
All right, on to our final section. We're going to talk about the secret little partnerships between words. They're called collocations. Basically, they're just words that native speakers always use together because they just sound right, and learning them is a major shortcut to fluency.
A perfect example is the verb depend. It is always, always followed by on. It's like they're married. There's no big reason why it's not depend of or depend in. It's just depend on. And once you memorize that little pair, your grammar instantly gets cleaner. Here's another one that's all about context. You cut the hair on your head, right? You get a haircut, but you shave the hair on your face or your body. If you use the wrong verb, it just sounds really unnatural. So this is a great little distinction to lock in.
And let's take a practical, real-world example, a mortgage. You don't do a mortgage, and you don't make a mortgage. The natural, correct way to say it is you get a mortgage or you take out a mortgage. It's this kind of specific language that really makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. So there we have it. We've gone through indirect questions, tricky verbs, phrasal verbs, and collocations. Don't think of them as a bunch of separate rules. Think of this whole thing as your B1 upgrade kit for sounding more natural.
And look at that, we're right back where we started. But now you know exactly why the after version is the right one. It's not just about memorizing it. You actually get the simple rule behind it. Now that is some real progress. We've covered 4 huge ones today, but learning a language is just full of these little aha moments. So what's a small rule or a little trick that's made a huge difference for you? Keep your eyes open for them because those little things, they're the real keys to unlocking that next level.